them birds gonna fly. You already know. Race to the snow. Eagles train to go.
Hello world, Bald Eagle coming at you with another video. With so many changes going on in the NFL during this offseason, the coaching staff of a lot of teams are changing, and we know there are going to be a lot of trades, and the draft is also coming up. But one thing moving forward that's going to stay steady is the quarterbacks for the NFC East. It seems like the NFC East has their quarterbacks moving forward, at least for the 2026 season. So we're going to evaluate those guys, what they've done so far in their careers, what they did last season, and what the future holds. So, of course, I'm talking about Jaxson, Jayden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and the elder statesman, Dak Prescott. We're going to start with the youngest guy and the rookie of them, Jaxson. So Jaxson was drafted 25th overall in the 2025 NFL Draft. He finished 4th in Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He's the first rookie quarterback to record multiple games with 240-plus pass yards, 60-plus rush yards, and at least 2 total touchdowns. First quarterback to accumulate 1,800-plus pass yards, 400-plus rush yards, and 20 total touchdowns in his first 9 games. So he's a very exciting young quarterback. He's setting records out here. So I know he's bringing a lot of life to the New York Giants. He's exciting that fan base, and he's bringing competition to the NFC East. And I'm excited about things like that. Last season, he was able to get 2,272 yards, placing 26th with 15 touchdowns, tying for 25th. Rush yards was 487 yards. It's non-applicable. I guess he had too few games for that. 9 rushing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, tied for the 4th fewest. Passer rating of 91.7 and total touchdowns 24. So he's a very exciting guy. Like I said, he's bringing life to his fan base. But the thing to watch out for him is that the 10 games that he played, he was evaluated for concussions in 5 of those games, and he sat out 2 games for concussions. So he was evaluated for concussions 50% of the games that he played. That's a red flag to me moving forward for a young quarterback, because that's a injury right there that you don't want. That's not even like just a body injury. That's something that, the NFL doesn't even really want to talk about, and he's dealing with that early on in his career. So I hope the guy can stay healthy moving forward. He's an exciting player, and like I said, he's bringing competition to the NFC East. He has a new coach moving forward. Not sure what that's going to look like, but it's a revamp of the New York Giants altogether. So we'll see what happens moving forward with them. But right now, he's only giving us a sample size, so we can't really judge him too much on anything we've seen. We know that he can be exciting, but we know that he's also injury prone, putting himself in harm's way like that. He has to play a different style and switch it up a little bit. Hope he can stay in the league and keep the NFC East exciting. Moving forward, we're going to talk about Jayden Daniels. He came off a great rookie showing. This was his 2nd year in the 2025 season. Jayden Daniels was the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Debut season went 12-5, went to the NFC Championship game, took his team there for the first time since 1991. He was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He made the Pro Bowl in his rookie year, the Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Year. He also had the NFL Moment of the Year. So, this guy had a very exciting rookie year, but his 2nd year was not as great. He only played in 7 games, so he only got 1,262 pass yards with 8 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 278 rush yards with 2 touchdowns on the ground, a passer rating of 88.1, and he just dealt with a lot of injuries this season. And even before the injuries, he was 2-5 for starting in the first 7 starts. So the team went 5-12 this year. Wasn't even close to the year they had. It was literally an invert of itself. But I don't know if they were going to have any better of a season with him playing. He was injured in week 2 with a knee injury, week 7 hamstring injury, week 9 dislocated elbow, and week 14 re-aggravated that dislocated elbow. So not sure what he has going on right now. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and maybe he needs to play a different brand of ball. The Washington Commanders are also a team right now that's doing a revamp. His career stats so far: 4,830 yards, 33 pass touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 66.6 completion rate. So he's a young, exciting quarterback, but he's another guy that I think he got crowned too soon. These guys, I don't have a problem with any of these quarterbacks for the NFC East. I think the NFC East actually has some of the better quarterbacks and have one of the best quarterback class in the NFL altogether. But some of these fan bases, they make it difficult to kind of give these guys the credit that you can give them in a realistic way, because they're so quick to crown them and say who they're better than and things like that, or just call them the best or top 5. But we haven't really seen much from them. Like I said, Jayden Daniels started 7 games this year, and he was 2-5 in his starts. So his injuries was not the reason that his team had a bad year. They were going to have a bad year anyway, because the Washington Commanders, they're a confusing team to me. They have a young talent like that, but it's just a bunch of old guys around him. Like I've said that plenty of times. I don't understand. Maybe they're going to switch that up moving forward. I know they're bringing some coaches in. They did some firings as well. But look, I mean, we're going to see what goes on into that. But right now for Jayden Daniels, he seems to be just injury prone, because those are different injuries. It wasn't like he had one injury that kept him out in the season. Those are different injuries all throughout the course of the season. He also had the rib injury in his rookie year that kind of sidelined him for about a game or two. And, he toughed it out and soldiered it out and played the rest of the season, ultimately making the NFC Championship game. We know what happened in that game. But, this season right here wasn't the best for him. And, he's a young, exciting quarterback, like I said. Hopefully he can stay injury-free and keep the competition in the NFC East. So even though we were going in the list from youngest to oldest and as far as age and career, right now we're going to have to skip lines and go with the Dallas quarterback, Dak Prescott, next, because we're talking about who really runs the East. And if we're going to talk about accolades and accomplishments and things like that, we're going to have to talk about it in a real way and keep it in order according to accomplishments. And right now, Dak Prescott is next on that list. This guy's been in the NFL for 10 seasons. This next season coming up will be his 11th season. And this year past, his team went 7-9, and he started all 17 games. So, you do what you will with that. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round draft pick, 135th pick overall in the 2016 NFL draft. He was originally Tony Romo's backup. Now he's the highest paid quarterback. So salute to him for that. Parlayed his hand into big money. 4-time Pro Bowl selection, 2016, 2018, 2023, and recently 2025. He's the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, 2016 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2023 Second Team All-Pro, NFL TD Passing Leader in 2023 as well. NFL MVP runner-up, finished 2nd place. Comeback Player of the Year finalists in 2021 and 2025. So Dak Prescott has accomplished some things off the field. One of the things I respect the most is that Walter Payton Man of the Year, because that means he does a lot of good things in his community. But, we're talking about football right now. His career stats is 139 games played with 35,989 pass yards, 92 interceptions, 243 pass touchdowns, 66.9 completion, passer rating 98.3, rush yards a little over 2,100, 31 rushing touchdowns. This guy, he's won the division 4 times for his team: 2016, 2018, 2021, 2023. And 2016 and 2018 were really good years for Dak. He's made the playoffs 5 times: 2016, 2018, 2021, 2022, and 2023. In 10 seasons, made the playoffs 5 times, never won 2 playoff games in a row. So, I'm just calling it how it is. Last season, he played all 17 games and missed the playoffs again for the 2nd season in a row. His stats last season was 4,500 yards, 30 pass touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 67.3 completion, and 99.5 passer rating, which was great numbers. Dak will give you great numbers. I don't feel like Dak Prescott is a winner. I feel like Dak Prescott is a pretty good quarterback, but when it comes to stats, you have to pay attention to it. Sometimes you have quarterbacks that don't play the entire fourth quarter because their team is winning convincingly and they're going to win the game. And then sometimes you have a quarterback that he's getting 124 yards in the fourth quarter just because the other team, they don't even care anymore. They're going to win the game. They're just playing prevent and they're letting him get his yards. And that's kind of how it works for Dak Prescott most of the time. You rarely see a game where he has 300 and something yards, but they won the game convincingly. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but that's not usually the case. He's usually having those yards trying to play catch up. So to me, I don't count those yards. That's kind of how you end up with 4,500 yards for the season, but don't make the playoffs and have 2 number 1 wide receivers. So, I'm just evaluating the guy in a real way. 4 divisional titles in 10 seasons, never winning 2 playoff games in a row, and not making it past a divisional round. You don't run the East, my guy. That's just not how that works. He's an elder statesman in the NFC East, and he's been around. And like I said, he's going to give you the stats. I think Dak Prescott is a pretty good quarterback. He's a standard quarterback. But these teams and their fan base, they just make it impossible to kind of give these guys credit and really like them because they overinflate them. And Dak Prescott, to me, is very overrated. He's overpaid. We know that. But he's very overrated because I just gave you all the numbers. You get the numbers, but you don't win 2 playoff games in a row in 10 years. You got to put something together at that point. Like Drake May, that he was carried to the Super Bowl, but he was able to make it through. He put together more than 2 wins in the playoffs because you have to do that to make it to the Super Bowl. And if you look at a lot of young quarterbacks, they have more playoff wins than Dak Prescott. So I'm just calling it how it is. I think he's a decent quarterback. He's just not a winner. And he's on his 3rd head coach right now. There's been a lot of changes in Dallas based on this guy. And he's the common denominator. He's the guy that doesn't move around. Out of every change that they've had, he's the one that's still there. So moving forward, I don't know what's going to happen. I think his head coach is a pretty good offensive coach, and he had them looking right. They stole an Eagles defensive coach right now, so not sure what they're going to look like next year, but if their defense could get it together, Dallas might be a real threat next year, and that's going to keep the competition in the NFC East, and I like that. I rather the competition instead of Dallas missing the playoffs 2 years in a row. So that's just looking forward. We're going to see what Dak is able to put together, but he's, unlike the other 2 quarterbacks that I've spoke about already, he's given us more than a sample size. 139 games played in the regular season and 10 seasons. We've seen a lot, and to me, I'm not sure it's going to get any better than this, but time will tell. All right, the last quarterback on the list, Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles. 2nd round draft pick, 53rd overall, 93 games played. He's been to 2 NFC championship games and has been successful in those games. 2 Super Bowl appearances, been successful in one of those games. Also the Super Bowl 59 MVP, 3-time Pro Bowl selection, 2022, 2023, 2025 most recently. 3 divisional titles, 2022, 2024, and 2025 most recently. Has made the playoffs 5 times. As a starter in 6 seasons, was a starter for 5 of those seasons. And he's won other awards off the field as well. 2022 NFL Player of the Year by Maxwell Football Club. All field honors include Philly Citizen of the Year and BET Sportsman of the Year. 55 plus career rushing touchdowns. 33 of those are brotherly shoves. So he has 63 altogether rushing touchdowns, and only about half of those are brotherly shoves. So he's 3rd all times in NFL TDs for rushing. NFL postseason, the only quarterback with 10 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns in the postseason, the only one. He's one of 5 NFL quarterbacks since 2000 to post 30-plus total touchdowns in 4 consecutive seasons. So, this guy he's had a great career so far in 6 seasons, going into his 7th season. And that's come with a lot of OC changes and a lot of coaching changes and stuff like that. His career stats so far: 17,891 pass yards, 110 pass touchdowns, 45 interceptions, 3,500 rush yards, 63 rush touchdowns, 64.4 completion, 94.4 passer rating. In the 2025 season, he was able to put together 3,200 pass yards, 25 pass touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 64.8 completion, 98.5 passer rating, 421 rush yards, 8 rush touchdowns. So if we're just going to talk about Jalen Hurts compared to Dak Prescott, we're already looking at a big difference between them in about half the seasons. You have 93 games to 139 games, and you have 3 divisional titles to Dak's 4 divisional titles. And Dak's 4 divisional titles led to nothing. When Hurts got divisional titles, the Eagles went further in the playoffs and made the Super Bowl, even able to win a Super Bowl. So there's nothing to compare about who really runs the East. It's going to seem like there's a lot of bias here, but when I'm breaking it down, the only thing that's just doesn't look so great for Jalen Hurts is the numbers. He doesn't have the best pass yards total, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather that and get wins, because if Jalen Hurts was playing how he plays, but the results were bad, I would have a problem with that, and I will be honest about that. Because if you're going to get those type of yards, but then you're losing games, I'm going to complain about that. But I don't care about the yards if you're going to put wins together and it's going to be consistent. And that's what it's been. There's been a lot of consistency with the Eagles since Jalen Hurts has been the Eagles quarterback. And that's just the facts. So if the numbers looked how they look now, but the wins weren't there, then I could complain. But I don't care about the numbers if the wins are there. Like I said, the only 2 quarterbacks you could really compare in the NFC East, because they're all in different stages of their career. The 2 guys that I first mentioned, they're younger guys, one going into his 3rd year, one going into his 2nd year, and they're both trying to figure out how to stay injury-free right now and keep their fan bases excited for them. The 2 other guys, Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, they're more seasoned veterans, with Dak Prescott being the elder statesman of both. And this guy, he's accomplished less out of the 2. So that's just the facts of the matter. If Jalen Hurts is mid, as he's being called right now by a lot of people, well, I'm excited for when he gets better then. That means there's a lot of better things in store for Eagle fans if Jalen Hurts still has to get better. Because I just listed you a bunch of things that he's accomplished already. All these quarterbacks have room for improvement. I know it's low-hanging fruit, but Dak Prescott been in the league for 10 years. It's been a lot of changes. I don't see much happening with him. We already see what can happen when he gets a lot of yards, when he gets 2 number 1 receivers, and when he gets an exciting offense. Mike McCarthy was good at offense. Nothing happened. Schottenheimer seems to be good at offense. I don't know what's going to happen. So at the end of the day, who really runs the East? With everything that I've laid out to you so far, it's the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. And that's not even me being biased. That's just me going off results and numbers. The numbers say one thing, results say another thing. And the numbers look good for Dak because he's been in the league the longest out of all the quarterbacks. But the results are there for Jalen Hurts. The 2 younger guys, who knows what the future holds for them. But right now, who really runs the East is the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. You can tell me what you think in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this, but that's how I feel about it, and the evaluation has been done. The conclusion is here. Go Birds.
Them birds gonna fly, you already know. Rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles train to go.